And thank you for that great first sample. Just what we do is we get a first sample just to check that you can write well. What we're now going to do is actually share some of our writing resources and show you the process that we use. Remember that what's going to happen as soon as you finish the content, we're going to take it off to our designers and our developers, and they're going to insert it in a website. Now, there's a couple of little extra things we need in place to make sure that it's a smooth process, and the reason we have this is to avoid backwards and forwards. Now, backwards and forwards wastes your time and it wastes our time. So what we do is we have certain checks in place to make sure that you pass them the first time. They are very easy, and it just makes it a lot easier for you and for us. And so what I would like to state at the start is that what you're going to find is that the first time you go through this, it's going to take a little longer. I'll be totally honest with you, it is quite a bit, but they are all small checks. So for example, we ask you to check the grammar of your article. We ask you to check the spelling to make sure there are no spelling mistakes. The reason being is that if a spelling mistake goes into the website, somebody has to go in and fix it. We have to ask you to fix it, and it's just a lot of work. So although we might ask you to check the spelling, it's one little check. Now, there are quite a few checks that we have in place. Again, if I ask you to check the spelling, probably take you 10 seconds. So all of the checks together are very quick and easy, but I'm going to show you how they get done. But I wanted to state that it's like starting a new job. Think of it as the first day on a new job. Although you're competent, there's a couple of things you need to learn. You need to learn how that particular company does something. So it's the same here. And once you've learned that, it will go nice and quick. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to share a Dropbox folder with you. It's going to look something like this. It's going to have a folder here called completed content for review. And that is where you place anything you want us to review. In the format of, let me give you an example. It's going to be the primary term. So let's say you're writing about paving Cape Town, and that will be the type of page, a specific location. Looks like that. Okay, and then you obviously include the content in there. All right, so what I've done here, this is an existing site we've got. You'll see this is a sort of format, specific location dash the location. So we know, okay, these are location pages, those are service pages, and these are all the different types of pages. Don't worry, you will see it in a spreadsheet. I'll explain that shortly in the video. Now, remember I talked about our process and our formatting. So if you look at this page there, it's nice and neatly formatted. That's what's provided. And if you look, that is what our designers will do with it. They will take that content and place it into a design, and that's why we just need to make sure that you've got all your spelling checks done and those sort of things. But let's come back to completed content for review. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your articles that you want us to review into this folder. What we're also going to do is when we've signed an article off, we're going to move it across into completed content signed off. Nice and easy. Now let's look at the primary spreadsheet. That is the spreadsheet over here. You can go through the project brief. It's just a little bit of information and the deadline. But let's have a look at the spreadsheet. Now I don't want you to feel too overwhelmed. It's quite a lot to take in at the start. It's just got various checks in it. It does take us quite a while to prepare it. But what this represents is every single article. So site content here, this particular site is around 29 articles, and each column represents an article. So in this case, the type of article is the home page. That's a service page. That's a specific service. So in this case, it's about alcohol addiction. This one's about marijuana addiction. And as you go along, you will notice there are different types of specific services. So if you look at site structure, it does give you a nice overview of what the website's going to look at. This is about drug rehabilitation. It's going to be a home page. Then there's going to be a group of services under addiction, a group of services over there, and a group of services under treatment programs, and then a couple of locations that are available and some useful resources. So let's open up another example, paving pros. This might have a simpler structure. So this is a paving site. It's going to have some services here, a group of services. Each of these are their own page. And products, it's going to have each of those as their own page. So if you come across to content required, you will see walkway paving is article 3. It's 750 words, and walkway paving is over there. Nice and easy. And that just shows you the site structure. That might help you a lot. Now, there are various checks and balances in place in here. I'll go into those in a little bit more detail. Just please be aware of the sources. This is quite a useful thing. We've got the top infographic or the most viral articles. So just go through that if you need something there. Let's come back to Dropbox. So that's what that spreadsheet is there. What's also going to be shared with you is something called Process Street. Now, Process Street is a tool that we use to make sure that writers get all the checks done for the articles, and also to centralize our training for writers as well as our resources. So let's start at the top. New writer. Well, start by reading the step. Upload a profile. This tells you how to do it. Once it's done, just tick it off. Project brief, if you've read the project brief, tick it off so we know you've read it. How to submit work. Well, if you're not quite sure the first time you're going to submit some work, now that you're doing a flow, is you're just going to add comments in the relevant section in here. Reason being is that we might manage multiple projects, and it's much easier than going through an email. So if you want us to review a about page, come down to the about section, add a comment in here, and we know that we're going to jump straight into the particular project, and we'll come to the about page and review it. Much easier for you just to add the comment in here. At Alex, it tells you how to do it. How to submit work, it tells you at Alex, and we'll then know. Right, so let's get started. So just work your way through this. If you need any content templates, you will find them here. So obviously if you click on this, this will open up, and this will have a list of all the different templates. You'll notice that in our spreadsheet, there's a home page, service, specific service, it's got quite a few, FAQ, why use us, etc. Here they all are. You can just grab the particular template that you need and make sure you copy it and use that. Right, how to write content very quickly. Now, this is a section as to how I would go about it. I would review the content requirements and sources. So I would open up the spreadsheet and go, okay, what do I need to write? I'm writing what is required. Okay, all of these articles here. So if I was doing this project, that's one that's already halfway through. Let me try and find a new one, drug rehab. I would go, okay, great. I need to write this length article, and these are all the articles I need to write, homepage, services, etc. I would then write all that content. I would review the content requirements and the sources, so i.e. I would open up all the sources, here they are. If I was doing the homepage, those are the sources that we've recommended. Those are articles, other sites that you can go and copy the text and just rewrite it. I would then go and look at the content requirements. So I would open up, obviously, the homepage template and review the homepage, a lead gen or affiliate, depending on what you're doing. Alternatively, you can come down here and you can see the homepage. Any more information you want to know about the homepage, pretty much what you're seeing in our templates is already included, but this is just so that you can find it in an easy place. Rewrite the template, review the template. We've talked about that. We talk about rewrite the article sources. So we talked about the article sources being these over here, article source 01. So if you're doing the home page, rewrite those articles into the home page template. Update article with a primary term and long tail terms. So what does that mean? I want you to have a look here that there is something called a primary term over there. It's a very important row. This word is basically the crux of the article. It helps Google and people know what it's about. In this case, it's rehab centers. Now, where do you need to see it? Okay, where does the primary term need to be used? Okay, just come down a little bit further here, spreadsheet checks. Now, primary keyword used correctly. It needs to be used in the title, the article title, the first paragraph or sentence, in the last paragraph, and in the first H2. And here's a little bit of help on how to do that. So go and just make sure you use it in the right places. Once you've done that once, very easy. Basically, the title, the article title, the paragraph, first H2, and the last, done. Then what I would do is I would look at the long tail terms. Now, the long tail terms, these are variations of that people might be using. In this case, they might use the word rehabilitation centers instead of the word rehab centers. Not everyone uses the same word. So we just want to include some of the synonyms and some variations. So there. This particular article on addiction treatments has a lot more variation. So just make sure you use each of those at least once in the article. Right? So that's update, done. Okay, then I would look at the writing style checks. So what are those? I would come down here and I would look at writing style checks. So these are the checks that we have. Again, once you've written one or two articles, you will know exactly what to do. What type of website? Okay, so basically we're saying if you're doing a lead gen, you write in one style. If you're doing affiliate, you write in another. Read out your read the post or your article out loud and check that it's conversational. Is it scannable? Are the headings correctly capitalized? Very easy. Have you used some bullet points? Have you defined the problem in the article? Have you focused on what the user will get and not talked about our company too much? Have you covered the topic? Just quickly check you've covered the topic. Similar content, don't copy and paste text. We basically check it. We check your text to see that if you've copied and pasted it off the web. Embedded videos, most articles want a little video, so you just pop in a video. If you need some help on how to embed a video, just go to the help step, embedding a video. You can come down here. There should be how-to guides, embedding a video. It's very simple, just in case you don't know how to do that. Where did we get to now? Oh yeah, we're doing the writing style checks. Call to action should be in the template. Check Excel data for grammar. We'll come back to that. And then the next thing I would do is check article passes the spreadsheet checks. Now I just want to talk about that a little bit. Very simple. There's a meta title you're going to insert. Where does that go? Meta title. You just pop it in over there. Pop in the meta description. Tells you how to write it. This is how we write it. The formula we use, it does have to contain the primary keyword. Check the headline quality score. One of the things we do is nobody's going to read an article if the headline's not good, so we find it, the headlines are vital. We use two tools to check your headline. Basically make sure it passes that score, and you pop it into the spreadsheet. Headline check here. Emotional, they're the two headlines. Pop in your headline, your first H2 heading. Over there, very simple. It's quick to do. Check your grammar. You've already done this in the template. Keyword density, we just check your keywords. It's a quick check. We don't want to make sure you haven't overused the keyword. Some writers, let's say they are writing about rehab centers. They might say the best rehab centers in the world are this and this. If you're looking for rehab centers, consider these rehab centers as they're the best rehab centers. And they use that to push up their word count, and it reads terribly and Google hates it. So we just do a quick check here to check you haven't overused the keyword. Use a few synonyms if you have an issue. We've talked about this. Use the long tail variation. These are all very simple. User focus, we've talked about that. But basically in the spreadsheet, you're just going to answer these questions here. These auto-update when you fill it in. These ones, have you used the keyword in the first paragraph? Yes or no. Have you used it in the last? Have you used the long tails? Have you focused on the user instead of the feature? Done. Very, very easy to do. And what you want to do is you want to make that the checks go green. So this particular article is what it looks like here. You'll see that they've done the grammar check. The Grammarly score is fine. They've passed all the checks here. There's a slight issue here. They haven't added the link, so we know what needs to still be done. Here, this article, they obviously haven't added the article in the article headline. Here's an issue over here. First term, the primary term hasn't been used in the H2. It's very simple. And that's the process. So let me quickly summarize it. You're going to receive a Dropbox folder. Completed content will be placed in here. Once we've signed it off, we will move it into here. Here is the project brief, and you will find a spreadsheet that contains a list of all the articles you need to do, listed along the top. Article length at the top. If you're working on an article, just change it to pending so we know what you're doing. If you have any requirements, it goes in here. Here's the type of article. You will see the site structure here, homepage, services page. You just need to complete a couple of these things, the SEO title, description. You need to look at the primary term, and you need to put in the headline, the H2. Check your two headings or your article headline to see that it's good enough, and check that you've done the grammar. You should have done that already. And just check you haven't overused the keyword in terms of the density. Check you've used the keyword in the first paragraph and the last paragraph. You've used various long tails. Make sure you've used some of the article sources. This will speed up your process. It means you do not need to go and research what to write. This is your content that you can work off. So that's the spreadsheet there. We talked about the site structure, and we've talked about Process Street. Basically, this is how we manage everything, and it's our resources. New writers go through this. How to write content quickly. Basically, open up, grab the keyword, open up all these sources, rewrite the keyword into the template, over here, find the relevant template, rewrite the keyword, or sorry, rewrite these sources into the template, then just check the article sources, check that you've used the primary term and the long tail, primary term being this being the primary term here and this being the long tail. Make sure you've used those. Right, check the writing style, just come down here and have a quick squiz through these. Make sure you've done this in the article. Our templates already cover almost all of this, so you should be very quick to go through. You should go, oh, okay, cool. I've used some bullets, I've capitalized my headings, I've scanned my article, I've read it once aloud. I've made sure that it's not duplicate content, I've added a call to action, and I've put in a video, and that's done. Next thing you're going to do is just check that you've done the spreadsheet checks. Okay, great. I've done the title, I've done the headline, I've checked the grammar on the article, keyword density is fine, pass, 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 and done. And then you just request the review. And just a little bit more further down here, if you want some formatting help, this is how we do it over there. And if you need some guides, so if you're doing a home page, so you'll generally find this matches it over there. Then we come up to the type of article, row 9, specific service. If you need a little bit more help, there's some information here. You know, let's say you're doing an infographic, this is information you can use. If you're doing a how-to case study, remember we have a lot of different article types, you do a lot of different websites, and so you'll find that all here. If you're writing an external article, that's there. Please check how-to guides if you get stuck on how to use Grammarly, how to check a headline, how to write a product review, headline templates. If you're ever stuck writing a headline, these are great templates. They will pass the tests. They're very catchy, so if you need a headline at any point and you're not feeling creative, I personally use these all the time. There's like 200 here. We've compiled all the headlines we've ever had written. We've put them in here, and it will help you along the way. So what we're expecting is we're expecting you to rewrite, sorry, not to rewrite, to write each of the articles found in your web content spreadsheet. Over here, we expect these when you're done to go need review or fixes required or whatever needs to happen here of this length, article required length. We expect these all done within the deadline and the spreadsheet completed. You know, this is an example of a spreadsheet that's completed a little bit. They haven't finished the project, but they just popped in the title, popped in the description, popped in the heading, checked that it passes the 2 tests, checked that they've done the grammar, keywords are fine, this all passes, and that article needs to be signed off. There's a couple of fixes required. I think they had an issue with something which would have been detailed to them. We look forward to receiving some of your work. We have got a lot of projects to do, so if you have any questions, always here to answer them.